Aluminum Spork.
Aluminum Spork. What is going on, everybody? It is Tuesday night. It is time to talk about aliens, ancient history, lost civilizations, conspiracies, cryptos or kryptons, like not the currency, but the animals, and all things supernatural.
Oh, not the currency. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Fair
not
enough.
the currency, but we could. Maybe another show. We'll try it some other time. I'm Scott with Sporking News Podcast, and this is, again, Aluminum Spork with my co-star over here, Mr. Grant Gregory from Down Under. How are you, sir?
Doing good, doing good. I'm in a different location at the moment. We've had a couple of things happen at home, but everything's all good. So
Good.
my audio is going to be a bit dodgy. Sorry for that, people, but I'm working on minimum equipment at the moment.
Well, thank you for giving them a heads up, so I don't have to be like, well, your audio's crap there, buddy. Anyways, I'm a jerk. So, you know what? I told Walton if he wanted to come on. So, always having a Walton appearance every once in a while really brings the fans.
Yeah, all three of them are really happy about it.
Yeah, and most of the time they're just yelling at him.
Yeah.
Gotta love Walton, though. I support that dude 100%. I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. He is a good human being. We all are a little nuts in our own way, like the lovely Sherry, who is the queen of memes. I love you. Thank you for being here. We also have Bad Takes. Bojan is deliriously sick, so I hope you get better.
Yeah, speaking of fans.
Yeah, speaking of fans, and wink, wink. Jim Donegan, as always, supporting the channel. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. We also have a couple watching over on the Rumble. So please, guys, give it a thumbs up on Rumble. We're really trying to grow that. I lost one sub, so I'm down to 398, but let's try to get to 400. And when we get to 400, we'll do I'm going to do a 500 celebration on Rumble like we used to do back in the day.
Why not? Do a hair reveal.
Dude, yeah, maybe some people will come back and see us. Never. All right, anyways. So I don't know if you know a lot about the case we're going to be discussing tonight. We're going to be in the realm of aliens and UFOs. One of the most dramatic, one of the most documented, and one of the most credible UFO mass sightings and abductions happened in 1969 in Berkshire County, Massachusetts, which is on the west, like closer to New York and Connecticut, over on that side. I live in New England, so it's not far from where I live. It's idyllic. Idyllic is the word. You have the old, wooden covered bridges, and it's a beautiful area. Well, this is a huge incident that happened on Labor Day, and it's one of those cases that I've heard of before, but I didn't know anything about it. And after watching Unsolved Mysteries, one of my bosses was like, dude, I know you're into this. Check this episode out. So I watched it. I was shocked to not hear about it. Like, I never really seen people like push this one as like one of the definitive UFO, like up there with Roswell. Like that's how big, not with military, but there are some governmental things that happen later on. And it's just really interesting. Have you ever heard of it, Grant?
I'm not 100% certain. Is this the one with the Hills? The Hill family?
The ones with eyes?
No,
that's Betty and Barney Hill. No, that's New Hampshire.
Yeah, because I know a bit about that one because their granddaughter, Angela Hill, is a UFC fighter.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and she's mentioned it on a couple of podcasts before, and that's where I first heard about it.
Yeah, some people think theirs was, I've been hearing recently that, like, okay, so I got a guy at work who just discovered, like, the UFO field and, like, tries to tell me what's going on. Like, he's like, you ever see this guy, Dr. Green? I'm like, Greer, you mean? He's like, yeah, Green.
I've just discovered him. Yeah, this new guy. He only came out last week.
Right. It's like, and then he probably tried to bring up Graham Hancock. I've been like, dude, I read his, Fingerprints of the Gods, like 6 months after it was released. That was almost 30 years ago. Getting there. But yeah, so this is one where I was actually shocked. Like,
Is this
wait
the
till you
one where
see.
there was like 200 plus people that saw it?
I wouldn't go that high of a number, but there were at least 40 calls into the radio station that night,
Yeah, okay.
and the
So
police
this,
station.
I know very
Mul-
little on this.
right,
So.
multiple children like being abducted, parents losing time, just weird anomalies happening. And I'll go into it. There's things that the Netflix episode for Unsolved Mysteries left out. Like a lot of these kids had earlier UFO sightings, and there were quite a few UFO like sightings dating back to the early 1900s, like 1903. And I think there's also like Native American folklore about like sky gods in that area. I can't remember the tribe. I don't know if it was Mohegan or not Mohegan, Foxwoods. What are the guys from Foxwoods? Massapequa Indians or Mohegan? It could be someone completely different.
It was one of the M's.
Yeah, I'm totally
one of the M's.
probably going to get canceled for that, not knowing. But we'll get into it in a minute. Let's say hi to some more people in the chat. We got Zax, who is, dude, not for nothing. Zax does it right. He gets big, and instead of just chewing and screwing off my streams, he at least is always in the chat. Always. And he supports the channel. And you know what? I'm into that dedication of love. Moment of silence. All right. We also have Pinocchio's Helicopter Tours.
Pinochet.
Algonquin. Yeah, you're right. Wow, I said that correct.
Oh, I thought it was Algonquin, not Quint.
No, it's Algonquin. Don't make me try to do it more than once. Democracy Manifest. What is up? Yeah, let's get this going. If you're over on Rumble, once again, no one's there, just me. Okay, forget it. But don't forget, YouTube demonetized me last year. It's been hard to build this back up, so I'd like to thank everyone who's been a channel member. Feel free to join the channel. Your perks are you support me, and that's your perk, and I'll love you forever. Also, I'm not, I used to not like to do it, but I am more of a, one of my kids is here. Start talking.
Okay, so yeah, I don't really know much about this. All I know is there was a guy called Thomas Reed who was at the center of it all. So I don't really know what he wants me to do. So
sorry about that. You could usually just talk about something.
Yeah.
Sporking is here. It must he must be thinking it's the wrong day. No, that's Wednesdays I miss.
Yeah.
And I do that on purpose. I love you, Zax.
Was I right? Was this the Thomas Reed?
Yeah.
Guy? Okay.
It's like Thom.
Oh,
Reed.
okay. I only remember from reading things. So.
Reading things like 5 minutes ago. There's also like a kid named Tommy Warner who was 10 at the time. Melanie Bauman. She was like a young teenage, like 14. And like the thing is it wasn't in a town of Berkshire. It was in the county of Berkshire. So there were kids from all different areas, literally like that never met each other, having the same experience. And and for a channel member for 9 months, Biggles Metz, who I got to spend too much time with in Florida, and realized we're both warped. Love the dude. It is a baby with Sporking. Oh noes.
Oh no.
Oh noes. I was thinking today was Wednesday. Yeah, I know. So
it is for me.
Oh yeah, that's true. You're in the future. So what we can start with is just a little bit of backstory on this. Once again, the townspeople in Berkshire County. It was September 1st, 1969. So that was a Labor Day. It was hot. It was humid. And people said even for that time of year, it was much hotter and much more humid. And because of that, literally some of the people came out, like the radio host that didn't see anything was like, it's probably swamp gas. Like that is the most generic, I've lived in New England my whole life. I've never seen swamp gas. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't imagine it being like a massive ball of bright lights.
Yeah, because I mean, I've had some pretty bad gas, and I've never had anything that's done that.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's a weird coincidence. We go to the moon, and then a month later, this happens.
Right. And that's another thing people said. The timing was insane. Um, some of the people actually thought it was like payback for us going to the moon.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
visit
like,
my place, I'll trespass on yours.
yeah,
You think your
well,
ship's big? Look what I got.
yeah. The thing is, I'm starting to realize like a lot of alien abductions more and more are like children. And so are like aliens just really freaky, dark internet guys from around the universe?
No, it's actually more morbid than that. The problem is the tractor beams aren't very powerful, and America has become a nation of obese people. That's why abductions have gone down. So that's why they have to go after the
Okay.
kids. Yeah.
Right. The two things Zach says, New England known for Swampcast. No, it isn't. And Mike has bad knees. It's always good to see you, brother. He said we went to the moon, you know? Yeah. Stanley Kubrick got us there. Maybe they're working for Hillary. You never know. So we're going to start with one of the kids. All right. One of the kids that had a really crazy experience. And it's funny too, because you're going to notice I don't have exact times, but I know for a fact he was only gone for 7 minutes. Others were hours. But what happened with Tommy Warner was 10 years old. And he only knew like this small town life. You know, he played outside, did everything kids would do in the 60s and 70s, actually like go outside, play in the dirt, have some fun. Well, he was at his neighbor's house, which I guess he was at over a lot. And there was an older sister and then a sister about his age, and the older sister was watching him. So this was like the last weekend before school was supposed to start. So he was next door, and then Tommy Warner tells us later on that, you know, in his life, he recalls that he heard a voice in his head say, leave, go home, leave, go home. And it just kept repeating it. And some people were like, well, maybe he's schizophrenic. That really doesn't kick in until later in teen years, early 20s. And he also never had the experience again like that. It was most likely telepathic.
Or swamp gas.
Or swamp gas. It's known
Yeah.
to tell you to go home. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Tommy, being 10 years old, thought it was God telling him. So the girls report, like, say he just got up and said, I got to go home. The voice is telling me, and books out the door. So they like, you know, a couple seconds behind him, they're like shocked. So maybe give him a 5-second head start. When they see him running, they're screaming, Tommy, what are you doing? What are you doing? And all of a sudden, a bright light shines on him like a beam. And he is still running, but going nowhere because he's levitated about an inch off the ground. And then I guess the light gets even more intense and his arms like go back, like almost like it's pulling his chest, and he was gone. And the girls were just in shock. And Tommy reports being in this big room where there were other kids, that he has little bits and pieces through the years.
Did he recognize any other kids?
Tommy did recognize, I believe it was the girl Melanie Baumman, who's 14, but she didn't recognize him. Now, all these kids are not in the same town either. But when Melanie met Tommy years later, she felt like an instant connection to him. She said, I still didn't remember him, but I felt like my missing brother showed up. And it was before she even heard his name. So they had this bond from being in this room. And one of the kids talks about they were projecting like willow trees on the, you know, the sides of the ship, inside the ship walls, maybe trying to make it more comfortable for the kids. But they were also, you know, not probing, I hope not, but they were doing whatever they were doing, taking samples, something. I don't know what they do. But 7 minutes later, Tommy appears and he's on the other side of the backyard. So he went out the front door and the girls found him 7 minutes later in the backyard. He was pinned to the ground, actually, by that beam of light still, and all he wanted to do was run home. He was terrified. And the beam said something to the effect, or the voice in his head said, relax, it's only going to be a few more minutes. I promise you're not going to be hurt. And then it released him. And the girls ran over. Just everybody was terrified. I mean, can you imagine seeing a light, you know, 1969, okay? maybe the day the world, whatever that one was, like not the
That
one with Keanu Reeves, but the day the Earth died or whatever.
stood
I forget.
still.
Stood still. Thank you. Like that's the type of Flash Gordon serial reels, stuff like that. They didn't have 69 Kubrick. I didn't think came out with Space Odyssey yet. I don't think. Maybe he did. Maybe somebody can look that up. I thought that happened in like early 70s. I could be wrong, but like all these things. These kids had nothing to really compare it to, or the internet to look things up. So a lot of these people kept it to themselves for years. Like the next girl we're going to talk about.
You would, because it would make sense of the time. They would think you're a loon.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is. It's 1969. You tell people you saw a UFO, you're a nutbag. And the next girl, Melanie Bauman, her mother told them never to speak of it again after their experience. So it was that same night. She was about 2 miles away from where it happened to Tommy, and they were at the lake. I think it's Lake Mansfield, and her dad just bought them ice cream, and they were backed into a parking space, and they were eating ice cream, and then all of a sudden, this blinding light came into the windshield with a huge. I mean, they're talking. This thing was like a football field in size. I keep hearing different dimensions, but this thing was massive.
This is the one I've heard of. This is the story. Yeah, this is the girl you're saying, Melanie.
Melanie, yep.
Okay, so this is I've heard of this incident.
Okay, so
that's what I thought this incident, this whole thing was.
Oh,
so I didn't realize there was multiple.
Right. So Thom Reed, I heard about. I didn't realize all these other people had the issues. So when I saw the show, I was like, wow, there must be more to this. And I did some digging for once. I even made notes. Look at me. But so Melanie, they were all shocked by this bright light, and they believe that it came, the craft actually came out from the water. It could have been reflecting off and just all the light kind of confused them, but they felt like it was coming out of the water. And for some crazy reason, her father felt like he had to follow it when it started flying away. Now, maybe there was voices in his head, like, come after me, follow me. But he took off after the craft. And literally, the next thing Melanie remembers, she's just alone in the dark on the sand portion of the lakefront.
Is that, on the other side of the lake, right?
Yeah. About a 5 to 10 minute walk from her house. And she had no clue where her mom, sister, and dad were. Like, it's crazy how right away some of them remembered really vivid details, but others, it kind of almost like the brain goes into a trauma state, where it's protecting you from that.
Quite normal, especially if you're someone who was, say, highly religious and this sort of thing shatters your world. There's a good chance that your brain would shut down. Or if you've already experienced a trauma of kidnapping or anything like that, it could just,
And to be honest, I don't know these people's backgrounds, but, 1969 Massachusetts was still very Protestant, religious every Sunday, church-going people for the most part, So, yeah, I mean, I could see this being harder on the adults. But
like, especially like as you said, like they're a religious sort of town and everything. How do you?
I'm guessing.
Yeah, how do you reconcile that to your kids when you don't even understand it yourself? Because you don't want to call them angels or anything like that.
Right. And the crazy thing is like you're just trying to comprehend what happened, and and your kids are probably having a nervous breakdown. But she said in one interview, like, she wasn't scared walking home because, nothing ever happened in that town. And it was a walk she's done a million times. But she also believed she might have been still in a state of shock, because when she relives what happened in the flying saucer, she was up against a wall or on like a flat gurney. And, but she was sitting in with her knees up, sitting up, like with her arms around it. and she had her head in her knees, and every once in a while she'd look up and look at the other kids, and must have made eye contact with Tommy at one point, but then would look back down, and then the next thing she remembers, she's next to the lake. And her mom and dad, the car, they were in the driveway, I think with the sister, and they couldn't remember how they got there and where their other daughter was. But when she got home, they talked about it for brief few minutes, and then it was like, we're not,
like the floodgates opened.
Yeah, you're not going to be talking about this with anybody outside this house, which was probably at the time a smart thing to do. Yeah, fat people are hard to kidnap. What were you going to say?
Oh no, I'm saying like, yeah, I can. It's like if this was my family, what do? You chalk it up to a bad night. Okay, I don't remember drinking anything, but maybe I ate some food that had mushrooms in it. We all hallucinate. I don't know.
Well, someone tried to say the town was probably, someone spiked the water supply. You know how much acid or whatever you would have to put into a water supply that would reach all the different areas of this county, which a lot of them were probably
Yeah, hit everyone at the same time.
Right. They all have to drink about the same time. Right. Then we're going to skip to Jane Green. So Jane Green is 42, a very respected citizen of Great Barrington. I believe she owned, I don't know, no, maybe that was Reed. I don't remember. One of them owned, I think she did own a business. It was, her family was generations there, just like Tommy Warner, 5th generation. Her family was the only ones that had a pharmacy in the area. So she was well-known businesswoman, took over the pharmacy after her dad retired, blah, 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 blah. So now she's 42. Her and a friend are driving home. Once again, they see a bright light just a huge bright light in front of the car. And she stopped, and both women were amazed at what they were witnessing, this massive alien aircraft hovering over them. And she remembers how there was no sounds of wildlife, of night in New England, crickets, frogs, buzzing of not bees, but crickets and frogs and other, chirping and things, nothing, complete silence.
All right. The question with that is, were they able to silence them, or did they have a technology that actually stops sound?
Well, and I was wondering that, once you're enveloped in the light, is it blocking all, that sense? Or is it some type of frequency they're vibrating on that causes all them to shut up?
We have noise cancelling headphones now. They literally just hear the sound with a microphone and then do the opposite tone of the sound to create that artificial white noise. So I mean,
totally knew that. I so knew how that worked.
So there's no reason that couldn't do it as well.
Right.
Yeah, because is this where the depiction of the flying saucers first became popular?
No, I think that saucer shape was already known, but later on they bring all these different children to one of the middle schools or the schools and have the kids draw what they saw, and it was very close.
That's because I do remember seeing. I think there was a YouTube video I saw that recently.
There was also in Africa, there was children that the same thing happened in the 90s. And,
much easier to kidnap in Africa, yeah.
I mean, it was a well-to-do school, but it was in Africa. So the teachers were inside, and they were still running it like it's the 50s in America. So you could probably whack a kid if they were lying to you,
Why not?
Why not? But so Jane remembers that silence was just deafening. And then the next thing they remember, they're in the car still, but time slipped. So they didn't say a word to each other until they got to the drugstore. And then I'm not quoting her perfectly, but Jane turned to her and goes, what in the world just happened to us? And being this, citizen of the community, which smaller communities, people could be a lot harsher on somebody who's well-to-do that everyone respects, but they want to knock them down a peg or two, I'm guessing. So she kept it to herself for years.
And a woman too.
Right. And she's a woman. And then I think it's her who you know, comes clean to her son that this happened, and her son's like, Mom, the same thing happened to me, but I didn't want to tell you, so because I didn't want you to think I was crazy. So there was a lot of that going on. Things happened, and it was a lot family type things. It wasn't usually a single person like Tommy Warner, which was weird because all the others were like the girls didn't get caught up in that time loss. They were there for that 7 minutes, and then all of a sudden he reappeared. Anybody else with the children that got abducted, they lost time, and it was usually a family. I found that to be kind of interesting.
That's the story that I've heard a whole heap when it comes to these alien type abductions. That there's like 10 minutes, 7 minutes, 15, whatever it is, that just seemingly disappear. You look at your watch, and then you look back at it a second later, and time is done. Which is the reason it's always freaked me out when that's happened to me.
Yeah.
It's literally as weird as it is. It's always like, I'll be driving. We'll be going on a trip, and it'll be like 5 kilometers, or say 3 miles to the next town, and then next thing you know, I'm on the other side of the town, and I don't even remember going through it.
Dude, been there many times. Like,
you're a fellow abductee as well.
Yeah, right. I'm just a guy who probably just motor skills, just just go. Tina says it right here. Animals and insects can also sense a threat and not make noises, as most of the sounds are for mating. All right, get it on. Maybe the aliens don't like mating. Bastards.
So they're coming here to adopt?
One of the most popular families that went through this were the Reeds. They were in Sheffield, so that was the next town over. So it was definitely more than a couple miles. And they were leaving. I don't know where they were leaving, but it was a beautiful night. So it was the mom driving, grandmother in the passenger seat, and the two. Oh, Jesus. Oh, sorry about that. I just had a kaboom moment. And the two brothers in the back seat. And they saw, once again, a bright light coming through the end of the bridge. And, these covered bridges are gorgeous, but the opening it was just light. So, being smart, New England white folk, why don't we follow the light? Dumbest thing. So they start driving.
They're going hunting.
Yeah, right. They start driving, and it appears to be just going side by side with them. Maybe kind of out, an American car, out the left side driver's direction.
You mean, the passenger side?
Yeah, the driver's side. Forward, but Thom couldn't get his eyes off of what was out the right side, the passenger side of the car, was this glowing orangish color bulb that was just, he said, very warm colors, and it mesmerized him. And then at some point, both the colors connected, and boom, lost time. They come back to, they're a few miles away, and the car is parked, and everybody looks at each other and was like, what just happened? Did something happen? And the aliens screwed up because they put the grandmother in the driver's seat and the mom in the passenger seat. The two boys were in the same position, but grandma never drove. So it's almost think about having, I don't know, a mouse, a human having a little thing with mice in it, or guinea pigs, a couple different ones. You pick one up and you put it down in a different area. That guinea pig's probably holy shit, he moved me to the other side of the state, and to them, it was just whatever. The two female ones were up front.
I mean, that's how it will be in the Netflix story anyway.
Yep. Pretty. I just love that. But it seems like people have been coming out, and it was really Thom Reed who has kept this story alive. For some reason, it never was one of those that caught fire, even though when
I'll be back in a second. Someone in the chat does have a reason why it might be going, why it wasn't taken as serious.
Anyone else have trouble hearing Scott? Okay. I will work on that. Is that better? Is monitor have to be high? I thought that was my ears. Because I put that let's take the D noise off. Can you hear me better? E Clay, let me know, my brother. Sup. All right, so O Long John, O Don Johnson, O Grand Piano says, Thom Reed, a central figure in the incident, comes from a family that considers themselves multi-generational alien. I was going to bring that up. Alien contactees with a history of similar experiences dating back to the 1950s. Now, I know he had at least 2 other experiences. Slender, you want to jump on, man? If you like talking aliens. But yeah, you're right on this. I know he talked about one like when he was 4, him and his brother were abducted by aliens. Kind of the same thing, not like where they were alone, ended up somewhere different. I didn't know if other family members did, but other kids, I think, I think it's Julia Ballman. She also spoke about previous things that may have happened to her. I don't know if Tommy Warner did, but other kids have said that this has happened before. And there have been quite a few sightings in this area. But if it was such a massive abduction, not even a mass sighting, which it was, but a mass abduction, like this was swept under the rug pretty well. And if it wasn't for Thom Reed pushing it and keeping the story alive, no one else would have spoke about it because, again, New England values come from, it sucks, but it comes from Puritan escaping England and other places coming to the new land, and it was like, you get up early, you work hard, you go to bed, don't cause problems. Be good, pray to God.
So you think there was more that people didn't talk about?
Oh yeah, like Thomas, what he put here, their experiences do date back. I don't know about the other family members, but I do know that he had 2 other experiences, once happening when he was like 4 years old and once a little bit later. Are my S's and P's coming through like sharp?
Not to me, they're not. Just
right.
Start saying Scotty sells seashells on the seashore with Peter Piper.
It's just so silly. I don't know if I sound sexy or if it's just, I don't know. I don't.
First to know, my pronouns are so thank you.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, wow, that's so loud at my end.
I know, mine too. I'm sorry if I blew out anybody's ears.
The crap out of me.
Cam's Crash Course. What's up, Cams? Hello, everyone listening and driving. Have fun. Well, thank you for listening. We got about 13 people over here on YouTube and nobody on Rumble. Feel free to go follow me over on Rumble. I could really use a couple more subs, or what do we call you? Followers? Rumettes? We got
Rumblers.
Rumblers. I need a couple of more Rumblers. Because I really would love to build that network more, YouTube. I just literally keep going backwards. Last 6 months, 50 subs. But anyways, let's not go down a field of Scott crying again. Yeah, you always sound sexy to me. Clay, I knew I loved you. You're like a big stick of butter. Hold on, can I get it even worse?
A big stick of butter.
Not gonna lie.
Talking about.
That kind of freaked me out because I couldn't see your face when you did that first voice. I'm like, wait, what?
Long John. Oh, Don Johnson. Oh, Grand Piano. The lack of physical evidence combined with the absence of contemporary reports and academic attention. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
What's a contemporary report? Is that like a report that's a little bit more self-conscious?
Just a douche, like a hipster report. Now,
contemporary like that. Yeah, I didn't think of it like that.
Most people didn't start coming out until the mid aughts. I love using that word, aughts. So like, or mid 2000, like 5, 6, and really into like the early 2010s.
I call them the naughties.
The naughties. I like that. Scott's tears are great for houseplants.
I don't know. I reckon I'd be too salty.
That is awesome. No, the tracks of my tears, man. Do 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 do. So take a good look at my face. You see my looks out of place. If you look closer, it's easy to trace the tracks of my tears. Do 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 do. I love you, love you, love. Sorry. All right.
Was that ABBA?
What? Did you just say ABBA? That's
Yeah.
Smokey Robinson, man.
Oh, Smokey ABBA. Yeah, I don't know who that is.
One of the most funky looking eyes ever. It's like he's looking into your soul.
Oh, yeah, Biggie Smalls did that a lot too.
Biggie Smalls, this is the illest. So yeah, they did leave out what. All right, so how many people out there actually saw this episode? I don't know if a lot of people watched this. I just saw it and thought it would be a cool topic. But
I've seen the entire series, so I've obviously seen it, but I just don't remember the specifics of it. I do remember different.
Moist. What a word.
What are they? Chicken?
Yeah.
So I know I've seen it, but yeah, as I said, like because there's so many different things, and because it was such a long time ago, there's so much media that has taken it's very derivative. Is the easiest way of saying it. Like, because in my mind, this was where the sources come from. I remember all the kids having that, and then that becoming the popular thing about flying saucers looking that way.
Well, I mean, you're not remembering the truth. You're remembering your version of the truth. Every memory you have is your version of it. That's the one.
Yeah, but my memory's real.
Yeah, like you know when people try to say he's talking his truth. No, but that does work when it comes to memories because they do change depending on the severity of it or the effect that had on your life. Like you may see it completely different as the person who was sitting right next to you. What was different with this one is that like there was like over 40 to 50 people. So
but the thing of it is they're all saying something. It's not like they were all saying the same thing. So some just saw lights, some saw people hovering, some got transported. So I can understand why there was a huge amount of skepticism around that when it was buried. Has there been any sort of official notes?
Okay. I was going to get to you on that. So Jane Green, the 42-year-old businesswoman of the area, when she got home, told her husband what she saw, and her and her girlfriend saw, and the husband was like, "Were you guys drinking?" But then he said, "You should really call up the radio station." They knew the DJ for that AM area. And she told him the story. He said, it could have been a swamp gas, but has anybody else seen it out there? And he received over 40 calls, talked about it for hours, and none of it was recorded though. Because, they would just tape over tape loops, to save money. Oh man, I would have loved to hear those freaking tapes. I bet you with, you think with, what's his name's, Jackson's new technology, something that was recorded over, you can maybe pull out with AI?
You can to a certain point, but the problem is that's an analog type technology. So every nick, every scratch, everything, every bit of wear and tear on that will warp the original thing behind it. Digital is a lot easier because it's a pattern. Essentially what happens is when digital tapes get rewritten, there's a thing called the FAT, the file allocation table. And when you erase something, all you're doing is erasing that. That's essentially just like the index. Right. Saying this is here, this is here, this is here, this is here. It's the street directory of it. So you get rid of that. The data's still there. It's just all jumbled. So with the modern sort of stuff, it's easy to do versus the old analog stuff.
Okay, gotcha. All right, but like I don't know. It sounds amazing, the Beatles stuff they did with that AI. But I see what you're saying.
Well, also because that was done on a record that was sealed off as well. That was in a safe for years. So it was safe from a lot of the elements. Right. This thing had been reused countless times before then. So how would it be able to pinpoint when stuff was recorded and when it wasn't?
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. What I like to touch on is a lot of historical. I don't want it because I'm spiritual. I believe in my Lord and Savior. I know that some people think that's corny, but I don't give a shit what you think because I'm a terrible Christian anyways. Sinner. But I believe, like
Well, you
in the
picked the
Bible,
right
a
one.
lot of,
It's
yeah,
very forgiving.
I mean, all I have to do is say, please forgive me at the end. But
It's
like
like, yeah,
literally,
gotcha, bro.
yeah. But literally, I believe that a lot of the encounters in the Bible where people saw, fiery chariots and wheels coming down. I mean,
Well,
look at Enoch. Enoch is all about going into outer space.
the way in which it's been, the creatures and things are being depicted, they're not an earthly type thing, like a giant eyeball with multiple wings and arms with pointed ends. I mean, that sounds like a squid to me, but like, yeah, like
Yeah.
these were the depictions of what an angel was.
Right.
So
Right.
I mean, it could make sense. Like spirituality and science are always been linked. They're on the
Right.
opposite ends of the same coin,
Well,
but they're
well,
still on the same coin.
how could you not, think that's a god coming from space? Like I
Well,
can
yeah,
understand.
any technology that's a few generations ahead seems like magic.
Right.
That's like, it's like you going back in time and trying to explain to people in the the 800s specifically just what Wi-Fi is.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, like they would have no concept of any. It would be so foreign. I mean, so if these creatures or whatever it was are that far ahead, we're looking at stuff like it's a saucer or like that, and then that's the image that we keep in our head is what we thought it was, and just like an AI doing an image generation of something, it's
Mm-hmm.
not an exact replication.
Right. Right. No, that makes sense. What I'm bringing up is like Renaissance. I'm just going back to Renaissance paintings. Let's see. I want to use this one. That might make it bigger. Yeah, but we're over there. All right, let's do that. No, let's go back over here. Okay. So these are the old ones. Like you have this guy right here. Like it's supposed to be an angel. Like an angel needs a flying star.
Or it is that. That
I
could
mean,
be, yeah, that could be
yeah,
the angel. Yeah.
yeah, flying
Oh, but
down.
we see it as a ship. Okay, it makes
Right,
sense. Something has to do
right,
that looks like a dart, or it's like this. Maybe it
right.
wasn't pointed. Maybe it was just breaking through the atmosphere. There's a flame trail. It could be any number of
Mm-hmm.
these things that skew our perception of what it is.
Yep. Here, I'm going to blow these ones up. So here are a couple of the bigger ones. So you got that one there where these two men in the background over the left shoulder of what I'm assuming is the Virgin Mary. They're not even paying attention to that. They're looking up in the sky to whatever that starship is. Because that's one of that looks like a flying saucer.
Well, I mean, that's easily what someone could depict it as.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You got these two guys over here.
it's weird. I kind of go like, oh, it's a sky submarine.
Yeah, kind of. A lot of times that's what they kind of describe them as. Then this one's another famous one. It's I forget the name of this one. What is it? Why does it always have to open it in a different window tab? Can I change that?
You just click on the picture and you drag it up to the main one. Yeah, to me that looks like a sky full of zeppelins.
Right, and they're trying to say it's clouds. I mean, it
mean,
could be, but why are they in that weird like flight pattern? I don't know.
most clouds fly together. So good clouds do.
Clouds fly together, stay together. Let's see another one. So what do I do? Drag it where? Oh, cool. Did I do it? Yeah.
You did the
I just
thing.
learned. I did the thing you showed me to do. This woman is getting like direct from heaven beamed into her head. They got the dove representing like God, but could it be like Tommy Warner where telepathically they're speaking to her and giving her messages?
No. See, she was cooking some like onion, and what happened was she had some cheese and oil, and it burned her, so she threw it out the window because it cooled her hair, and that's what that is. That's a long strand of cheese.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I thought it was a heavenly golden shower.
That'd be expensive.
Yeah, I hope the kids aren't listening. Nobody's kids. Let's see. There was one other I always found to be interesting. Was it this one of the good Lord? Yeah. I thought this one was cool. I don't know exactly what Renaissance one this one is, but like this object, under the armpit of the Lord. And just look at that. Like they blow it up over here. It's a little, probably go back one, but I mean, what is that? Supposed to represent a jellyfish in the sky? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it looks like a spaceship to me.
I mean, unless someone was flying a kite.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like you could see that, and those could be beams of light, not the things that are coming down, but the absence of it.
Right.
So,
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. It's just funny how, like, because they couldn't explain it in a way, they just couldn't fathom what it was. They explained it with the terminology they can use. In 50 or 60 years, the descendants of Bigglesmets might be like, what's a flying saucer? That is the dumbest sounding thing I've ever heard.
well, I mean, how many people know what? If you say the word saucer, most people still think it means a spaceship, not an actual, utensil.
Right. True. I always like this one freaked me out. They have like a reptilian in the background. I thought it was like kind of a monkey man.
Is that Pelosi?
That's good. Yeah, that's a weird. I don't think that's like a reptile. It looks more like a monkey hominin. I don't know. Look, chimpanzees and orangutans, like some scientists believe they're in their Stone Age. Like orangutans have used pieces of wood as spears to catch fish. Chimpanzees sometimes use stone tools to open up or cut open something. Like different places develop differently. These people developed way, longer or faster than us, and were able to understand space travel and get here. They're not.
Well, I mean, it could be just something as simple as they're older. That's all it is. It's not that they're more technologically advanced. They've just been around longer.
They had more time.
Yeah.
Well, I do. A lot of people think I'm nuts for this one, but I don't care. I subscribe to the idea that we may be descendants of Martians because their planet, we know that it used to have a most likely a viable atmosphere.
All right, go play in the bedroom with a tablet.
Yeah. I'll go to your bedroom with a tablet. That's kind of hot. But they had a, shit, I forgot what I was talking about. What was I talking about?
I don't know. She just come over. She knows the keyboard shortcut for mute.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. I just totally blanked on what I was saying.
Mars. We are a descendant of Martians because there is water there.
Yeah, they had an atmosphere.
Yeah.
And it definitely was longer than a couple 100 million years. They think it might have had it for a few billion. Something struck it. Something happened. They lost their atmosphere. Maybe they seeded our planet. I don't know if they crossbred with, the hominin here, or if they flew here and just started dropping knowledge on people after the great disaster of the Younger Dryas, or, they just did something to drastically elevate our evolution, because our bodies are not made for Earth. Like, we burn, a lot of us will burn in the sun. Not many animals will burn in the sun. We have like knee and back issues. Most other animals don't get that until they're very old. We get it. We can get it young.
Because of the difference in the gravity?
Yeah. Our eyes are not made for an Earth day, but in Mars being that much farther back, it's more of a dusk, maybe a little brighter, dawn and dusk, and our eyes can definitely dig that. When we go to space, our circadian rhythm matches up with a Martian day and not an Earth day. Boom, Martians.
I guess it's always looking at like grass is always green on the other side, even if it is a complete
Yeah.
iron-based planet.
Stop it. Over over on what is it? Rumble. Slender Dad, who's a supporter over there, said theoretically. Why can't I say that right now? Can you say that word right now, please, for me?
Theoretical. Theoretically.
I just keep getting dick in my head for. Whoa.
Whoa.
Theoretical. That did not sound right. A
Better than getting it any somewhere else.
Yeah. Don't, Mrs. Spork, I don't mean it. A flying saucer could, I don't know. A flying saucer could work if you could harness the magnetic energy of the poles and had a gyroscope, shell, and solar panels for when you left the field and traveled. I think I got the second part. Generating an opposite magnetic. Oh no, I think I missed a little part of that. Deep space, generating an opposing magnetic field strong enough to hover. The shell would rotate faster or slower based on the level of energy applied and could move incredibly fast if you could control it. But then again, Slender, like that's to our knowledge. Like these people can be working on different elements. I mean, everyone laughed at Bob Lazar when he talked about element 115, and we have proven for a microsecond that it could be. It is an actual element.
Not that it could be, that it is.
It is.
That's it.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. One man show, what up? Yeah, that picture had an awful lot of UFOs. E-Clay, one man show, always supporting. Thank you, brother. That's just a flying jellyfish. See, I agree. E-Clay said, could what people use to think of angels and demons just be aliens? I agree. Think about what we view aliens as. That kind of matches up with the reptilian race people talk about. And then the Norwegian ones. I don't know, the Nords kind of match.
The Norsk?
Yeah, no. Is it Norsk?
Yeah, Norsk. Like the Norse gods.
No. The Nord alien race.
Oh.
Like a blonde hair, blue eyed, tall, slender, blah, blah, blah.
North, like Thor.
Yeah, kind of. I saw the face on Mars. Maybe we did come from there. You never know. Come on. Keep your mind open. That's the beauty of like, I love when people are like, there's no chance. Really? No chance? Zero? Absolutely 0.0001% chance? No? You never know. Like,
so you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah, there's a chance. Panspermia hypothesis, best evidence of Martian being our celestial home. Thank you, O Long John, O Don Johnson, O Grand Piano. Soul Assassin showing up. What up, my brother?
That's not really. That's just saying that most life, like bacteria, could be spread throughout the universe.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean Mars, though.
It's coming from Mars.
Okay.
Proven
Confirmed.
tonight confirmed on Aluminum Spork. Soul Assassin said that's the funny thing. People say humans ain't used to Earth gravity and babies are natural swimmers when born underwater. But also, we're the only species that like baby horses kind of up within seconds. You know, most animals can start taking care of themselves pretty soon after. It's the hominids that can't. So people always try to do it like, oh, it's humans, but I can't use that one because like chimps and a lot of other mammals like, kangaroos, like they hold on to their kids for quite a while before they're able to take care of themselves. So I never understood that argument.
Yeah, but also it is a little bit different. Like there's nothing about a human child that is even remotely self-sustaining.
No. We got to check to make sure they're still breathing.
Yeah, like they'll just lie down and just stop breathing just for the sake of it.
Right. Sick Bojan says these features also mimic those of aquatic mammals. My high school anthropology teacher thought we spent more of our human development in water than the continent we're drifting. I've heard that before. Have you ever seen they did it a long time ago, so like the special effects sucked, but it was the idea that a version of early man split from the land dwellers and started spending more time in the water and on islands, and they became mer people.
Yeah, I've seen the I can't think what the theory's called, but essentially, yeah, it was men split off, and that's how we get the two different types of races when it
Yeah.
comes to skin color and everything. It's
Yeah.
like the people who notoriously known for not being good in water as a race were the ones who stuck around on land where everyone else was able to
Yeah.
go in water, because that's
Yeah.
why we got paler skin, because we're
Yeah.
further away from the sun. We don't need
We're
it down
strong
there.
swimmers.
Yeah,
That's so dumb.
allegedly.
Allegedly. I do find it interesting, though. There are very few humans that have an ancient human DNA. That was like, there was a point where they think the human race got under 10,000. Some think into the triple digits, like 900.
I mean, if only there was like a giant cataclysmic event that's reset,
Right. Right.
I mean, if hypothetically.
But this one started even sooner than, because, imagine being more than one cataclysmic effect. I mean, the Earth will never get hit by stuff, and it's, the universe is really safe and not chaotic. But yeah, there is a time where we almost brought a cataclysm almost brought us to wipe out. I want to say it was like 60,000, 70,000 years ago, but I could be wrong on that one. So back to this show, back to the story. What I like about the Berkshire one is there is some government intervention decades later. So I was talking to you guys about the gentleman, Thom Reed. He had multiple like awards given or citations and certificates given to him. So I'm going to share this real quick with you guys so you can see what I'm talking about. I actually didn't go through this one, so I hope it has the stuff I think. But don't worry, because I wrote it down. Wow, I am messing up right now. Okay. Did I tell you guys I'm on 2 hours of sleep? Good times. So here, Thom Reed from Unsolved Mysteries has letters confirming his UFO sighting. And let's see. While most of the episode, blah, blah, blah. It was only 9. In recent interviews with the Knoxville News Sentinel, Reed, wow, he looks good for his age. Look at him, being 9 in 1995 or 69, and look at him. He looks really ripped on that magazine cover. In a recent interview with the Knoxville News Sentinel, Reed said that the encounter has been a talk of the town for years, and that he took a polygraph test, which I saw reports on, and confirming he was telling the truth, or at least he believes he's telling the truth. So he took that. But what is interesting is, here it is. In 2015, a letter from Massachusetts governor at that time, Charlie Baker, recognizing his family, the Reeds, off-world incident on September 1st, 1969. So it was one of the first, it may be the first time any government official, state or federal level, dedicated or had paperwork saying this was an off-world incident, like aliens were involved. It was signed by Charlie Baker, his lieutenant governor, and also I believe the woman who runs like let me get back to it, the Great Barrington Historical Society. That was in 2015. Also, they inducted him. They inducted his abduction into their archives. Also, the U.S. Archives, first time ever, inducted the telling of his abduction into the archives, the U.S. Archives, which is, that's federal. But then for some reason, he was, 2015, Historical Society of Great Britain, or Great Barrington, U.S. Archives, the governor of Massachusetts writing a letter acknowledging that. That all happened around 2015, but in 2018, they all flipped. Charlie Baker said his signature on that was an accident. It wasn't meant to be signed. The Great Barrington Historical Society I don't know, they took out his archive, or no, they wanted to, but I believe a judge overruled them, and I think his name was like Judge Kevin, oh man, I'm blanking. But the judge overruled Charlie Baker, the U.S. Archives, and the Great Barrington Historical Society, because they wanted to get rid of the papers that documented this case, and this judge went base on them and was like, no, you guys were the ones that approved this. You signed it. Even if it was a mistake, this is a legitimate legal document, and you need to deal with that. You know, it's in the records. So it is still, I was going to get, Parrot Head, I was going to get a, like a RK Outpost gag ball. So I have, you know, Drunk 3PO, RK Outpost, and then Gary. I try, Parrot Head, I try. You know I try hard. Come on. Going back to what we were talking about before, the oldest evidence of life on Earth dates back to about 3.5 to 3.8 billion years ago, a period when the planet was just becoming habitable. Yeah, it had like much more, was it nitrogen in the air? So the sky looked redder and the ocean looked like a green. It was rich with iron, I believe. Yeah, you're right. Everything was there. Bigger. I was going to say everything's digger. Who's a digger? You dig? Grave digger. Biggles Met says I have like 50 of those gag balls. You would for RK Outpost, man. I just love how when we all right, real quick, we were down in Florida for a meetup, and I gotta be honest, like when we got to the physical meetup, I felt awkward with like people that I've talked to on the phone or been on panels with, have been on my channel. Like I didn't want to stand in line to say hello. I just felt awkward. It was weird. It must be weird for them too. But so I didn't really talk to many people except for like Ryan and Drunk and Biggles and I hung out. And the way like all these people are like throwing themselves like gaga over Ryan, Biggles was just dropping like the craziest shit saying to him. I fucking loved it. Oh, it was hilarious. Biggles also says only way to keep the aliens in the basement quiet. That's true. I'm not talking about illegal aliens though. We all know you're a coyote. So yeah, why did the government in 2018 decide to flip? Like they accepted this as like documentation. Now, even if they thought of it as like a lighthearted, well, this has been something we talked about for 30 years, so ha ha ha, let's make it official.
What are they hiding then?
What are they hiding? Why do they want it out? And who told them that in 2018? Like, who did that come from? That all three decided they no longer wanted to have that paperwork archiving an alien abduction of children. I don't know, man.
I don't know. Maybe people start looking into abduction of children. They'll start looking somewhere more terrestrial.
Yeah, you never know. We got 6 people though watching on Rumble, and we have like 11 still on YouTube. So please, guys, join, be a member. Feel free to throw a super chat. I'll read whatever you have, even hard words. That's rough.
Oh yeah, especially do like a really hard word, like a, I don't know. It's just hard R. Nope, I don't think you can say that one.
Nay. I would never drop the hard R. Oh, that's another thing. So they had a UFO, I believe they call it the, what the hell is it? God damn it, Web. I hate Wikipedia. Like now they're just begging for money. It's something like something park, Berkshire UFO Park. Let me look that up real quick. Where they had like a dedication there.
Oh yeah. I did see something about that. It opened in 2018.
I think it opened a little earlier, 2015. Let's see.
Yeah, because when I was looking at stuff earlier, that thing came up and I went, no, it's not that. That's a park.
Yeah. So UFO Monument Park. That's what they called it. A park was founded in 2015 on the banks of the Housatonic River by the town of Sheffield, where Thom Reed's off-world incident occurred to commemorate the incident. A 5,000-pound granite monument was placed in the park from 2015 to 2019, when it was replaced by a sign which reads, "On behalf of the citizens of Commonwealth of Massachusetts, I am pleased to confer upon you this governor's citation in recognition of the off-world incident on September 1st, 1969, which engaged the Reed family, which has been established." This is a governor saying this. Like, I know people are like, oh, so what? But this is like official. They're officially like admitting this happened. Your dedicated service to the incident was factually upheld, founded, and deemed historically significant and true by means of Massachusetts historians. The records highlighting the historic event are now officially part of the Great Barrington, Massachusetts Historical Society collection and your recent induction into Massachusetts history. And that plaque was signed by the governor and his lieutenant and the head of the Historical Society. The plaque was signed, though, in error. This is Wikipedia. Like, not saying that this, is in dispute or anything. They're saying it as fact. The plaque was signed in error by then Governor Charlie Baker after a persistent Reed asked the governor's staff to put Baker's signature on it, a Baker spokesman said. So you're telling me if I just keep hounding the governor of my state, he'll write something funky I want on a plaque and make it official, a letter, a citation?
We're going to have a Spork Day.
Yeah. That'd be I like it. Okay. I like it. Like I find that to be the biggest cop out. First of all, Charlie Baker, no offense, Massachusetts is one of the most liberal. It's the liberal East Coast state,
Why a giant rock? I mean,
I want to see if I can find a picture of it.
Realistically, if they were going to do it, shouldn't they just have shouldn't it be like a giant light?
Yeah, that's a good point, man. You know what? But they don't have. I don't think they have.
Sorry, we wronged you. Here's something we found on the ground.
Right. Have a good time. I mean, granite is a big deal in New England because a lot of the best granite comes from Vermont and New.
That's funny because I'm in the New England here in Australia, and we have a shit ton of granite, more so than anywhere else in the country.
Probably not as nice as our granite.
You want to make a bet? That has quartz in it. Inside quartz, there's gold.
Doesn't all granite have quartz in it? Just depends.
Yeah, but I didn't know you knew that.
Well played, sir. Well played. I appreciate you going for it. Yeah, here it is. Let me add. I hate that I have to do that. Is it Shift S to share? No. Control S.
Okay, so according to this thing, the monument has. The thing you just said was removed in 2019.
Yeah. I think it was removed in 2019. But it was also dedicated, and I believe in 2019. So I'm getting confused.
Yeah, so they dedicated it to them, and then in 2019 they went, nah.
Right. It's kind of weird though, man, like how everybody all at once was like, no, totally made a mistake. So that's all it is this is like that five, how many thousand? What was it? What did I say it was? 3,000, 5,000 pound?
Yeah, 5,000 something or other.
I mean, it could be a nicer looking one. Jeez, embarrassing us. But let me get a picture of the actual plaque to see what I was reading. I don't know if we'll be able to see it well here, but we will try. Oh shit, I keep forgetting I could do that thing you taught me. Boom. So yeah, and it wasn't just a plaque. There was definitely a citation for him too. And like they tried to get it swept away. One thing you can give Thom Reed is and why would you call yourself Thom? Thomas, I get Tom, but Thom, like, are you that guy?
Anyway. It's pronounced Thom?
Thom. He might pronounce it Tom, but it's spelled Thom.
Yeah, but so is Thomas. Thomas. Do you say Thomas?
Well, any Thomas I know spells their nickname Tom. I don't know anybody who spells it TH. That's like old English, like the Queen's English.
Well, I mean, the Queen's English, they are the country that invented it, so it makes sense.
This is America. We speak the way we won't speak.
What, Spanish?
This voice. Well, first of all, this voice used to be Scottish, and that's how we got that.
See, the Australian voice is the English voice after a couple of pints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is
Instead of
that-
saying, yes, chap, I'd like another one, it ends up being, yeah, yes, one you can't.
Well, we got people in Pennsylvania that are like, "Hey, you want to go downtown and drink some irons and that?"
So,
We call them.
would you like to go
names.
downtown and drink some irons?
Yeah, it's Iron City beer.
Okay.
You want to go down, drink some irons and that? Go to Pants and that? You want to go see all the Star Wars? Go get a
Okay, so
hoagie?
they probably spell the word shower SHAR.
Yeah, probably. Biggle says, "Isn't there a place in Arizona that is a UFO thing?" Yeah. It's called no, wait a minute. No, that's Roswell is in New Mexico.
That's New Mexico.
Yeah. It's new. It's the New Mexico.
It's not Old Mexico.
I believe there's a connection between these two. I believe in one of the museums down there. They have a
Yeah,
replica.
aliens.
Huh?
Yeah, they're both involved aliens.
Well, no, but they have a replica of what the kids said and the eyewitness said this spaceship looked like in the Berkshires.
Why would they have that?
I don't know, because they're like the alien hotspot and they want to be like, "Oh, no, we'll totally support you guys because we don't want you taking over our merch. We're just going to put up your spaceship here." Like, not for nothing, I don't believe Thom Reed has made money off of this. He has gotten local acclaim and now more national and international acclaim, but I'm not saying he's a Bob Lazar whose life was ruined by this, but still kept to the exact word of what his story was.
Yeah, so he pronounces his name Tom.
Okay, I hate that then.
Yeah.
Spell it Tom, dude. It's America. Yeah. I just find, these things pretty interesting. I don't know about you, huh? You? Huh? You?
Yeah, that's why I'm asking all these questions, because
Keep
I
asking.
heard a little thing here and there about it, but I wasn't 100% certain.
Please.
I like that idea of not knowing, and then I ask you questions, you're like, yes, I've already got it. So
Isn't it amazing
no, I hadn't thought of
when
that.
I do a little bit of prep, how pretty decent the podcast goes? I mean, we're not really a podcast, but we will be.
Well, we're not a podcast until you have an intro song.
Yeah, that's true. Do we have one?
Aluminum Spork.
Oh, that's right. That's one of the best. I was thinking of Spork of Ice and
I
Fire.
I always forget the lyrics though.
Aluminum Spork.
I always say aluminium.
Aluminium. Yeah, you guys made me feel real bad that I was spelling that wrong.
Well, you were.
I was not. That's America. Okay. Wow. UFOs is trending right now on X. Episode 42 of Tucker Carlson says, for more than 80 years, the U.S. government has hidden the existence of UFOs. The question is why. The answer is ominous. Ominous? Did I say that right?
See, I prefer UFOs over what is it? UAPs or whatever it is, or
Yeah, I hate that UAP thing. That was like Hillary Clinton too, being like, "I'm so cool, I know what they use. It's UAP."
It's like, okay, why are we trusting a space lizard to tell us what it is?
I don't know. Did you just say the Cat in the Hat was really hard for Mazza? I don't know.
Wait, what?
Biggles.
Oh, the book? Yeah, what's full of rhyme?
Huh? Do you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I see it. All right. I want to see what he has
the
to say.
detailed testimony, much of it under the Disclosure Act of 2023. The law requires the U.S. government to tell the public what it knows about the countless unidentified flying objects that have been spotted in the skies above Earth over the past 3,000 years. It's
3,000 years. I want to stop it so we don't get kicked off of freaking YouTube.
Well, I
And
mean,
want you
as
to-
everyone knows, we've been keeping a really good tab over things in the last 3,000 years, so
Oh yeah,
that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. Guys, if you are not subscribed over to Sporking News Podcast on Rumble, please do, because at some point, I'm thinking in going into the new year, we're just going to go Rumble exclusive so we can play clips and, have more fun over there just for Aluminum Spork. So Tuesday nights, if you're enjoying it, please make sure you check us out on Rumble so we don't have to stream on YouTube that night. Because I want to get into some darker and more conspiracy type things, but YouTube will totally take it down. But let's listen to a little bit more.
It's designed to be, and it very well could be, a transformative piece of legislation. And it comes at a time when we can finally say with confidence that the most unlikely sounding theories about UFOs are actually true.
Boom.
Yes, these things are real.
They are.
They're not all weather balloons.
Nope.
They're not experimental aircraft from this or any
Swamp
other.
gas.
Whatever they are, they
If he says swamp gas, that's awesome. You guys have to, whoever drinks, drink.
are not of human origin, nor do they behave according to the laws of known physics.
Dude, this guy's life is awesome. He leaves, gets booted from Fox, and all he does is like walk into his guest house to tape 18-minute episode, and he's probably making millions.
No, he's not making any money from them. That's the
What?
point. He can't. Yeah, no, he can't be making money. He's still got a non-compete clause with Fox.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucked up, dude. That's messed up. Oh, we got a super chat. It's the first one in forever. Yeah, E. Clay Thomason. Woo. For $5 says, I see, said the blind man as he picked up the hammer and saw. I see. Well, he's blind.
Yeah, he picked it up and saw.
Why the fuck did I get that? I must be really tired, dude. It wasn't until you put an accent on the saw that I got that. Oh, man. Thank you for the $5, brother. That means a lot to me. Seriously. I really, really appreciate it. I don't know if I'm taking it off and putting back on, taking it, because this thing sucks. So if you can help me with that one, sir. All right, let's get back and listen.
And yes, the U.S. government currently has physical evidence that they exist. That means wreckage of the craft as well as the bodies of the beings that flew them. Amazingly, all of this is true. We know that from the detailed testimony, much of it under oath, from several high-level witnesses.
Right. There were quite a few high-level witnesses. I mean, David Grush.
I was going to say, when you've got a guy whose career was as straight-laced as they come, never had a single thing go on there, and then the moment that he says something, they're like, maybe he was drinking.
And maybe he's racist. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was, and it's crazy because, like, it's hard to listen to him on Rogan because he does this a lot. He goes, like, he, like, clacks his, yeah. But he also is a high-functioning autistic person, and when it comes to organization and, doing his job, like, that's what he got focused on and was really, like, good at, and was able to file paperwork with the right people to get allowed to speak about a lot of stuff. I mean, the dude is pretty brilliant on how he got around some of the deep state, and I'll say it, deep state, lackeys that run these programs that, we don't know the name of, and our tax dollars disappear too. But they tried to smear this poor guy, and all he wanted to do was be honest. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he expected to be Mr. Famous, but the jury's still out a little bit, but he ruined his career. So, like, someone willing to do that because he morally thinks he's doing the right thing, you got to respect if that's what it really is.
Well, even if it's not, this was his time going, you know what, I'm gonna just make something up because I want to get out and I want to do something and everything like that. You've still got to take it as way more factual than they did, based purely and simply on the fact of who the guy was, his record and everything like that. But it was like it was instant. It was like this was the guy he's been saying the same shit for 40 years.
Right.
That's how they treated him. It was weird.
Well, like Bob Lazar, yeah. I mean, Bob Lazar ruined his career. The guy was brilliant. They erased him from his college. They erased him from Los Alamos. They tried to erase him. And luckily, they didn't do the most thorough jobs. You were able to find them in like a yearbook or a student directory. You were able to find, pictures of them at like some function for, Los Alamos. But for the most part, people didn't discuss they knew him, even if they were coworkers. This, Bob Lazar didn't make a freaking dime off of saying that Area 51 S4 had, a retrieved alien ship, which the dude, Grush on Rogan said that wasn't even the first alien crash we obtained.
Yeah.
He said, I'm allowed, I've been authorized that I can say 1933, but it went back even before that.
Yeah.
In 1933, one crashed in the northern section of Italy, and the Vatican worked with the United States to get it out of fascist hands and into ours, which is
Well, as he said, he's one of the things that he said was, as an intelligence officer, you never say you're 100% certain about anything.
right.
He said, but this I'm 100% certain about. It's like, because I have proof, I have seen it. It is real. This isn't a ambiguous what if sort of scenario.
Right.
He's like, I don't know what happens when you die. He says, but I know one thing: we're not alone.
Right. It's very telling. Very telling. And I mean, again, Bob Lazar talked about Element 115. Look back at interviews with him when he's telling you about it.
But he's talking about a chemical, a compound makeup of something that doesn't exist, and then when it's finally discovered, it's the exact sequence, it's the exact sort of thing. The likelihood of him guessing that or doing it's more likely that he created it himself from nothing in a cave.
Right. Or me being 6'5" with hair.
That's way more possible.
Yeah, I believe so too. Oh God, so there's a chance. Let's listen to a little bit more of this.
Whistleblowers, including longtime intel officers Lou Elizondo and Dave Grush, both of whom we've talked to.
Dave Grush. Okay, so it's
Grush.
Now, the Elizondo dude, I really thought he was doing a one of those government ops where they use somebody and destroy their life.
Yeah, he's full of shit.
Yeah, he all these people joined a rock star from Blink-182 to disclose to the American people spaceships and aliens.
Well, if I was to do it with any band, it would be that.
Yeah, Blink-182. Why didn't you get another dude from Sum 44? I mean,
there's literally the other band I was just about to say.
Were you? I mean, they're the Canadian version.
I'm like, shit, is it Sum 41, Sum 44? What is it, Sum 40? I couldn't remember the number.
It is 44, right?
I thought it was 41.
Oh, Sub 41. That sounds more like it. Okay, whatever. Hey, they're not around. Tom DeLonge, I think, is being used, but there's a lot of people out there saying that Elizondo is actually a credible guy. So I just hope they're not using him. They did this to a guy in the 80s, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head, and he ended up either, deleting himself or being
Which guy?
deleted. I can't remember.
Did he have dirt on the Clintons?
No, this was alien stuff. Hold on. I'll play a little bit more and I'm going to look it up.
There have been many, about 10 so far. So the question is, now that the UAP Disclosure Act has passed, when can the rest of us see the information that we paid for and in fact own? Well, not so fast, it turns out. One of the great secrets of Washington, known to everyone inside Washington, is that many of the most powerful members of Congress do not work for their constituents, much less for the rest of us, for the country at large. They are instead puppets of the most secretive federal agencies. They are controlled effectively by the permanent bureaucracy, including through bribery and blackmail. Two such members happen to be especially powerful this term. They are Congressman Mike Rogers of Alabama, who is the chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, and Congressman Mike Turner of Ohio, who is chairman of the House Intel Committee.
Turner's
Both
a prick.
of these men have been instructed to violate, in letter and in spirit, federal law, and to hide the truth about UFOs from the American public.
I didn't know they came out too, or did they? Is that something someone reported?
Well, they're squashing all the shit. They're supposed to be releasing stuff and they're not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
it's weird they're not releasing stuff about Massachusetts. I wonder what happened in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Like, yeah, it's weird, right? I don't know. Here it is. Hold on. Is this it? Real quick. I'll find it. Computer working really slow. No, that's talking. Robert. Yeah, maybe this Robert Emner. I'm not saying that last name.
Yeah, just don't say it with an A instead.
Robert Emnaga.
Yeah,
Yeah, Emnaga.
Robert Managa.
Emnaga. I don't know. In the Holloman Air Force Base UFO footage, that was 1975. Lyndon Moulton Howe, a lot of people think she's being used by the CIA. She always has like CIA informants, and like I kind of always feel bad for her. But there was like one guy, it was huge. Is it this guy, Paul Benowitz? Yeah. Okay, maybe this is down in ufology. Hold on, let me check. I'm going to share this real quick. Let's just copy this and just jump over here real quick. Oops.
So, did you find him or?
I think so.
That looks like him. Yeah.
Yeah. So 4 times the U.S. military hoaxed alien contact. So I think I want to say it's not majestic. I want to say it's the psychops on Paul Benowitz. Yeah.
Yeah, I know I know Paul Benowitz. He was used in a rap song.
Yeah. This is a terrible. I feel so bad for this guy. In 1989, MUFON Symposium held on July 1st at the Aladdin Hotel in Las Vegas has gone down in ufological history due to speech given by researcher and writer Bill Moore. In the run-up to the event, rumors ran wild that he had turned coat and was now a well-paid government agent spreading UFO disinfo. Allegations fueled by an article by Robert Hastings, published in the June 1989 MUFON UFO Journal. To address all the rumors swirling around him, Moore delivered a historical and equally incendiary speech called The State of the UFO Situation in 1989. Moore's speech began by laying to rest rumors that he'd fabricated the MJ-12 documents, because he's the one that brought Majestic 12 into the UFO world with those documents. I don't know if you ever saw them talking about like the real people behind the alien cover-up. It's kind of
I didn't even realize Majestic 12 was a cover-up.
Oh, really? Okay.
No.
Okay. Dude, I've had 2 hours of sleep. Leave me alone. I really was like, holy shit, is he that bad? Did he really not know MJ-12?
No, I didn't. Wait, next thing you're going to tell me... No, I didn't know.
Oh, okay. All right.
Next thing you're going to tell me is what Roswell was faked as well. God.
Don't you dare. However, okay, so he said MJ-12 or had profited from being a paid government agent, stressing that he was as poor as a church house mouse. They're really poor, I guess. However, Moore openly admitted his role as an AFOSI informant who, at the government's behest, had monitored ufology, reporting back to his handlers on the activities of UFO researchers and organizations. At first, this arrangement was simply an exchange of information, but over time, according to Moore, the spectrum of disinformation reared its troublesome head in the form of disinfo campaigns against an individual named Paul Benowitz. Paul Benowitz was an electrical physicist who in 1969 launched the Thunder Scientific Corporation, company specializing humidity generation, calibration, and measurement instruments. Its headquarters were based in Benowitz's home, located in Kirtland Air Force Base, adjacent to in New Mexico. During the 1970s, Benowitz became a card-carrying member of the Aerial Phenomenon Research Association, APRO, a civilian UFO researcher organization. In December of 79, Benowitz, equipped with an 8mm movie camera, began filming UFOs over the Manzano weapons storage area at Kirkland Base, which at the time housed the largest cache of nuclear weapon components in the U.S. He installed an arsenal of tracking antennae on his roof to record signals apparently emanating from these UFOs, which Benowitz claimed he could DF, direction find, for all you people out there that didn't know what DF meant, a distance of up to 60 miles. Alarmed that these craft pose a national security threat, Benowitz alerted Kirkland Base officials of his findings. So in October of 80, the Air Force Office of Special Investigation alerted Benowitz of their security efforts against this perceived ET threat, or at least that's the line they gave him. Official documents later surfaced to the contrary, indicating that the Air Force denied any involvement in UFO investigations or attempts to come up with any sort of defense strategy against them. Whatever the actual truth, AFOSI, and in particular Special Agent Richard Doty, Richard Doty's, I think, is the douche, or is he a good guy? I don't remember. Made no attempt to dissuade Benowitz of a notion that what he observed were genuine ET crafts. Around this time, AFOSI launched a counterintelligence investigation into him. So, like, this guy thinks he's actually, like, trying to be like, hey, man, we're in danger. Like, I better notify someone. And they're like, we're going to use the shit out of this guy.
And that was all set forward from what you said, Richard Doty?
Yeah, Doty.
Doty. I've heard
Doty.
that name, but I don't know.
I think we might be thinking of Richard Dolan, but Doty,
maybe.
Doty, like, used this man to misinform, because really what I believe they were building over there and flying were, you know, the newer, well, not newer now, but like, was it the stealth bombers?
Yeah, B-52s.
Yeah, and the other one, there was one other. B-52s, were they? No. Were they? Come on.
Well, I don't know. I don't know much about stealth bombers apart from the B-52 stealth bomber.
Everyone should know American stealth bombers. 1980s.
Because I know it could go 800. It could go 800 miles an hour. It can hold a nuclear payload of 3 nukes. That's all I know about it. That's from Broken Arrow.
I believe it was the Broken Arrow. Good one. I think it was the B2.
Oh, okay. I had one number wrong.
Well, I'm just saying, man. You really got to get a little more precise on that. There was the Nighthawk. That's the Lockheed Nighthawk I was thinking about.
Beagle said it was the B-52S.
Oh, who said that?
Beagles.
Oh, Biggles. Love Shack, baby. So let's see.
They also did Shiny Happy People.
Yeah, they did.
Which is
they did.
A very depressing song.
Shiny. Is it? I never really listened to the.
Oh, yeah.
Should I do it like people? I love when any type of singing competition, people just take a song and slow it down a little bit.
Make it sad.
Yeah, really.
Shiny Happy People loving.
Yeah. So go ahead and jump.
Yeah, it's the worst song. I can't believe they play that on the Suicide Hotline.
Please hold. I used to work with this old timer who would always say that. He's like, you and your grunge, you guys were depressing. In the 80s, at least, we had like our songs about self-deletion were like, you know, upbeat and fun. I was like, wow. Okay. Let's see where we're going. As it turns out, it wasn't.
Great.
alien.
Now I've got freaking jump stuck on my head.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Not even by the good singer either. God.
So the Air Force's concern was the fact that Benowitz had intercepted secret transmissions from a laser-based tracking system located at Kirtland. According to this author, the satellite messages were supposedly sent by laser light. The radio bursts were most likely a way to communicate with weapons or battlefield operations. So in a way, he probably was able to show them a weakness they didn't know about. Bishop noted that these encrypted messages sounded like sped up gibberish, until they were decoded and slowed down, which was the process Benowitz was trying to figure out. It was these activities that specifically concerned the Air Force, so parts of the investigation was to determine how far along Benowitz was in decoding, identify anyone else who might be privy to his activities. So they launched a separate counterintelligence investigation and set up surveillance on this poor dude. The operation included beaming electromagnetic signals at Benowitz's antenna setup with an intent of scrambling whatever transmissions he was intercepting. But the writer Bishop says the NSA had become a major player in the Benowitz drama, especially since a signal intercepted from the Soviet bloc had referred to him as a possible source of information, even if he was unaware of the role. So
That's nuts. How
right.
I don't get why. Why did they do all this?
Well, so he was setting up, he had his antenna and everything and was catching these signals, and he thought he was getting alien information. They, I think, were worried that he was going to break the code and figure it out. And if he did, is he an actual American, or is he like a communist sympathizer? Like, so I can understand, like,
Then hire the guy.
I mean, literally, the guy came to you.
Like,
he came to you.
Hire the guy, strap him with an NDA, put him in a room where he can't really do anything, and then find out that way.
Right. Well, this is where it gets bad, man. In the summer of '81, former Project Blue Book scientific advisor and Air Force consultant Dr. J. Allen Hynek is alleged to have confided to Bill Moore over an adult beverage or two that he had gifted a computer to Benowitz to aid him in his UFO research. However, Hynek neglected to inform Benowitz that this computer had been provided at the behest of the U.S. Air Force, and embedded in the software was a code that generated alien language. With the aid of an Air Force computer, Benowitz claimed he established constant direct communication with aliens. They
pranked the guy into death.
They trolled the shit. They pranked him, yeah. A form of hexadecimal code with graphics and printouts. According to Richard Doty, who really went too far, there's a lot more we could do about this, but I'm going to go over this for a little bit longer.
Apparently there was a movie about Doty.
Oh, really? What was it?
Yeah.
What was it?
Johnson said it in the chat.
Oh, okay. Do you know what it was called?
Mirage Man.
Mirage Man. Okay.
Yeah.
I do want you to know we got more people on Rumble right now than we do on YouTube. So we got 11 people over on Rumble. Guys, say something in the chat so we know you're real. And also, please give a thumbs up over in Rumble and a follow. Help out that channel. YouTube, feel free to bounce over there because we're going to only go to Rumble starting in the new year for Aluminum Spork. So please know that and make sure you have a sign in over there or whatever you want to count. All right, hold on. Where were we?
Mirage Man.
Okay. So according to Richard Doty, Benowitz had the computer rigged up to antennas on his roof that included a small microwave dish, and he would look at the screen and there would be images on the screen that certainly wasn't an alien, but he was convinced that it was. Well, because you guys were doing it to him. I would actually tell him, I don't see anything. And he would say, I see it. And I can hear them. And he had these earphones that he would put on and said, I could hear them talking. And I asked Paul, what language are they speaking? He said, they're speaking their language. And he wrote a 100-page document about the alien language. When he went out to Kirkland to give his presentation to all these generals, he presented them. Like, these people knew they were effing with this guy.
So not only did they feed him false information, they fucked with him. They gaslit him as well.
Yes. Yeah. It goes on the Dulce base, the truth and evidence from. Yeah.
This is personal. This isn't a standardized op.
This was an op. Dude, almost treating him like he was a foreign adversary, or the U.S. military or government should never treat an American citizen like this. Like they literally.
If only you had a constitution that stopped your government from doing stuff to you.
Right. I just, man, I guess it's pretty, but it doesn't hold up a lot. So Gabe Valdez is the son, or Greg is the son of Gabe. Recalls visiting Benowitz and receiving a demonstration of how he used his computer. He would type a question into the computer in a very complex, in a very complex for the time period form of computer program, much like a current email. Don't forget, this is like early 1980s. Much to everyone's surprise, he would get an answer to the question he was asking. Sometimes he would get an immediate response, and sometimes it would take several minutes. He would even receive very crude and basic pictures or graphics on his computer of these aliens. Some of these pictures resemble birds with reptile features. Some resemble reptile with bird features. During this question and answer session, Gabe instructed Paul to ask the simple questions. Where are you from? Paul already knew the answer to the question because he had already asked. He answered it verbally when a response came back on the computer. It simply said the Zeta Reticula star system.
If this was a modern day op, they'd give him a computer and then they'd arrest him for having CP on it.
Right.
And they'd put him away for 50 years. Bam, done.
Yep. Well, I mean, and he wanted to work with the government. That's the worst part. Benowitz came to believe that the U.S. government had signed on to a secret treaty with treacherous ETs who had double-crossed the earthly counterparts and overtaken Dulce base. So he believed we were under attack. To address this dire situation, Benowitz composed a report titled Project Beta, detailing his UFO investigation and outlining a strategy to combat the alien intruders. Benowitz shipped off the Project Beta report to Senator Pete Domenici and Harrison Schmidt, hoping they would assist him in his effort. In his report, Benowitz described a beam weapon he was developing, all part of his plan to neutralize ETs and ultimately, like, this guy believed he was on the path to defend the human race. Like, he really, it's not like he was, out of his mind. They made him believe that. They made him believe he was going to be a savior. That is so messed up, man.
I don't know much about the guy, whether he was religious or anything like that, but it's essentially, you've found your calling in life.
Yeah, he's very patriotic.
Not
just for the human. Oh, you cracked good on that one. Not just for
because he went to them, they became suspicious. Were they aware before that?
Not that I know of. This is where it gets shitty, this Agent Doty. Doty further encouraged Benowitz's belief that the ETs were not only responsible for the peculiar goings-ons at Kirtland, but that he was also on the right track with his Dulce underground alien base theory. Like, you are feeding into this man's, and it's not like a mental break. He truly believed the government was being honest with him. So, like, now you're feeding into it and be like, yeah, you're right about this. What happens to that dude, was like, I'm going to save everybody by suicide bombing this base? I'm just going to go for it and take out these aliens. So,
yeah, I never even thought of it like that. What if he had a well-armed militia?
Right.
That you guys weren't aware of. Or, I don't know, the ability to make explosives. Yeah, he's not dumb. If he's going to build a giant laser, quote unquote, what happens if... Oh, man.
Right. You get another couple people that believe in aliens, but you're very intelligent and talk to them in a way that it's like, this is...
And they're not. And then you've got proof now, quote unquote proof.
From government officials.
And they say, all right, we need to stop this one. The government's not going to do anything. You need to go in this building and blow it up.
Yeah. So... the ultimate intent of stringing Benowitz along, and this is according to researchers, was to shift Benowitz's attention away from Kirtland to a remote area like near Dulce, Arculeta Mesa, where the Air Force could ramp up their disinformation operation and more easily stage UFO events. So in '89, MUFON conference speech, Bill Moore assessed that he began his involvement in the disinfo campaign against Benowitz. So when I first ran into the disinformation operation being run on Paul Benowitz, it seemed to me I was in rather unique position. There I was with my foot in the door of a secret counterintelligence game that gave every appearance of being somehow directly connected to high-level government UFO projects. And judging by the position of the people I knew to be directly involved with it, definitely had something to do with with national security. There was no way I was going to allow the opportunity to pass me by without learning at least something about what was going on. I would play this disinformation game, get my hands dirty just often enough to lead those directing the process into believing that I was doing exactly what they wanted me to do.
Dude, he's so proud of this too.
Yeah, right. You're a scumbag. Like, anyway, and you know it's bullshit. He probably did believe in it, you know, and then like doesn't want to look like another sucker. And probably what happened to Paul, he doesn't want to be responsible. All the while continuing to burrow my way into the matrix. So at least to learn as much as possible about who was directing it and why. Like, you're destroying this guy's life. Yeah, I know, kind of early, huh? 1989. But it's kind of funny, like he's using how he helped destroy this man. Like, it was noble, though. I was trying to find out who was pulling the strings. However, over time, the catastrophic effect of the disinformation campaign on Paul Benowitz became evident. I watched Paul become systematically more paranoid and more emotionally unstable as he tried to assimilate what was happening to him. He had guns and knives all over his house and had installed extra locks on the door, and he worried that they, meaning the aliens, were coming through his walls at night and injecting him with hideous chemicals, which would knock him out for long periods of time. He told me he had no idea what they were doing with him while he was knocked out. He began to suffer increasing bouts of insomnia.
Wait, so did they knock him out? Did they start fucking with him alive?
I don't know, but all I know is he believed this, and they still didn't back off. Like, this man is breaking, and probably would never have broke if you guys just said, yeah, no, that's us, and can you tell us how you broke? Could we pay you? Like, I remember in the 90s, if you were able to hack into, the federal government, they would give you a job.
Yeah, there was that 13-year-old kid that did stuff in '93 when they did, because the idea of internet security back then was nothing, because he was using a 14.48K modem. Right. And just got a textbook and just very rudimentary hack. Yeah.
Right. And what's so sad is, like, this guy became like the textbook Hollywood conspiracy theorist. Like, you read this part, others took over the day-to-day operations of his business as he went through this. One day I watched him eat not a bite of his lunch while he chain smoked 28 cigarettes in 45 minutes. I knew at that time he was not far from a nervous collapse. His health had deteriorated. He had lost considerable weight. His hands shook as if he had palsy. He looked terrible. I tried to counsel him to drop the entire, but you didn't tell him the truth, the entire UFO thing before his health would completely destroyed. He'd say he
he's a good guy now. He's a good guy now.
Right. He said he knew things were getting bad and he was trying to cope with it. Not long afterward, I heard he had been hospitalized and was under psych care. I don't know from firsthand experience that there was a tremendous amount of government disinformation involved. Sure. Okay. Yeah. I don't know from firsthand. You just said before you did. And that a large portion of what we are hearing today about malevolent aliens, underground bases, and secret treaties with the U.S. government has a root firmly planted in the Benowitz affair. And a lot of people are saying, like, if you do believe in aliens that have contacted Earth, that governments are trying to make it seem like they're all like combative and malevolent and vicious aliens, instead of like what some people supposedly in the know. I almost feel like Dr. Greer is another Paul Benowitz in a way, but he holds himself together better. Like he believes like they're telling us that, but they're really here for they're really here for peace and passion. You know, they're very passionate about it. I don't know.
Yeah, we're their pets.
Yeah. He eventually suffered a mental breakdown in 88 and was checked into a psych facility by his family. He died in 03. Though more speech was given in 89, his thoughts still resonated more than 40 years later as we find ourselves living in a society increasingly threatened by online disinfo. The current crop of disinfo, let's see if they talk about Paul again. I mean, this guy is like, literally kind of, it pisses me off that this guy like is making it seem like he was, you know, too bad Paul had a nervous breakdown over something I could have easily have told him, you know, wasn't true. Poor guy.
It's just like, oh, well, maybe if he didn't keep looking into it, he would have been fine. It's his own fault.
Yep. That's so bad, man. That is so bad.
You know what they've probably got? They've probably got a protocol or something named after him that actually has something legitimately to do with aliens, just to fuck with him. You know?
Right. Yeah. It's so sad, dude. I can't even see any of the chat for YouTube. So if you could see anything that
Yep.
The Clintons are aliens, I saw that. But other than that, the full Aussies over at Rumble, check that out. 16 or 18 people watching on Rumble right now. I appreciate it, guys. If you're not a channel member, please, a couple more to 400. I'll try to get like a cool stream. If we hit 500, we'll get some good guests and talk aliens. But 5 likes. So there's, 15 to 18 of you over there. Please hit the like button. Let's get to 20. I'd really appreciate it. So NASA didn't give him this one-man show. NASA didn't give me a job. They just said, thanks for bringing these security flaw to our attention. In return, we won't prosecute you. Have a good one. Is that real, man? That would be awesome.
I'd believe it.
I do too. That would be awesome. Yeah. Biggles, I can't deny what you're saying there. So it's Mirage Men. I'm going to check that out. Is that on like Prime or something?
No idea.
I'll have to check that out. But we're going to call it a night, guys. I got to get up early and I didn't sleep last night. So tomorrow night, there may be a dump if someone runs it. So if you're out there, Slender or Tina, and anybody wants to run it, please do. Grant, thank you as always, man. Right-hand man. I appreciate everything you do for me. I want everyone to know you're not a dirty, dirty scumbag like most of the people say about you. I think you're amazing.
Yeah, I've been trying to get that rumor to go around for ages, but people are just like, oh, you're such a nice guy. I'm not going to say anything. Just like, oh.
Right.
There goes my bad boy image.
I know. Like that. Also, that rumor that 4 inches is huge. Anyways.
It is when it's from the floor.
Well said. Do you want to plug anything on your 100K channel?
Yeah, so we got Full Aussie. We have tonight Happy Hump Day going on where we do clip shows and tease Rhino about being Rhino, and it should be good.
Who's Rhino?
Raging Rhino. He's in love with Star Wars series.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I like that guy. Yeah, good dude. Good dude. Well,
you mentioned Star Wars in the chat and he'll appear.
Yeah, it does happen. Yeah. I love that guy. I miss him too. Haven't seen him in a while. Hope everything is good with him. But thank you again, chat. You guys are awesome, both in Rumble and on YouTube. Thank you so much for all the support. We were going to take you out with what? Take you out with the intro? You know what I kind of like? I like my old school, my first intro ever.
Why not?
All right, we're going to go with that. Everybody, have a great night. Tina, feel better. Bye.